Live from Radio America, steps from the White House. This is the G. Gordon Liddy Show.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My very special guest is Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin and his attorney, Paul Jensen. And with me on the phone is Dr. Jerome Corsi. And in case you are just joining us, Colonel Lakin is the officer who has questioned the legitimacy of orders in the military because of the questions of the legitimacy of the commander-in-chief. This is the world premiere, world exclusive. And if you want to support the colonel, you go to safeguardourconstitution.com. All right, our phone number is 1-800-GG-LIDDY. That's 1-800-445-4339. Let's see. From Chicago, Artie, you're on.
Hey, gentlemen, I have a question. Once Mr. Obama is found guilty of being ineligible, what's the remedy, and what will happen to others like Madam Pelosi, who signed dual certificates of nomination in Denver? A lot of people are on board with this fiasco. What will happen? I'll drop off and listen.
Okay, thank you, Artie. Well, first of all, any bill that was signed into law or anything like that by non-President Obama would be null and void. I don't know. I forget what was the question on Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, what would happen?
It was with regard to the bills that she has signed.
Well, I mean, none of them. She would be the one who would be forwarding bills up there. Anything that he signed, I would think, would be null and void.
Nancy Pelosi signed a lot of the affirmations to get Barack Obama on the ballot to begin with. The question would be to the Republican Party officials who affirmed in the 2008 election that Barack Obama was qualified.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't know how she would know if one way or the other. None of us know. What say you, Counsel Jensen?
I think that Nancy Pelosi will not be Speaker of the House next year.
I think that's very likely.
I think the new Speaker's name is John Boehner.
Yeah. Well, from your lips to God's ear. All right, let's go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and William. William, you're on the air.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions, but first off, Lieutenant Colonel, I thank you for your patriotism and defending the Constitution in the United States. I think there's a little bit confusion out there for some people that may be a little bit critical of this situation. They don't understand that officers take a different oath than non-commissioned officers. One's to support the Constitution, while non-commissioned officers do not. But I think that one of my questions, or a couple of them, I guess, is going to be directed towards the counselor, and that is, number one, I'm not familiar with the Military Code of Justice like you are, but since the military claims that the orders are in fact legal, will they be forced to produce the documentation to support their claims? My second question would be, well, at any time will Lieutenant Colonel Lakin be given an opportunity of discovery to support his claims? And I guess my last question is, Counselor, would you seek the Hawaiian birth certificate from Hawaii to support Lieutenant Lincoln's claims, since Hawaii and the Supreme Court in Hawaii has held that any public announcements made, such as Department of Health, if you will, since they have publicly announced that part of its documentations, will they be forced to release all the supporting documents, and would you pursue Hawaii as a means to also support Lieutenant Lincoln's?
Well, caller, let me answer by repeating what I said earlier, my advice from my friend Mr. Stone. We're not going to announce our battle plans to the enemy by announcing them today on national radio. But rest assured, we are going to zealously and vigorously pursue every opportunity and every avenue to prove that the Colonel Lakin is not guilty of the charges brought against him. With regard to the question about what's available in Hawaii, I think that there's no doubt whatsoever that all that has been produced, and we by the way don't even know who produced it. is a certificate of live birth that has been redacted and a photograph of an unredacted version with no source identified. These are untrustworthy documents. They are admissible in court only to prove, only to create a presumption, not a conclusion. In a court-martial, the prosecution is going to put forward the evidence that it feels necessary to present to convict. The prosecuting attorney will make the trial counsel will make the determination what evidence he introduces. We certainly don't want him to introduce any compelling evidence, but that'll be up to him.
Very quickly, this is Jerry Corsi for Attorney Jensen, a follow-up. In the charges brought against Colonel Lakin, will you have the opportunity in defending him for discovery, for forcing the government to release documents, including documents concerning Barack Obama's eligibility?
The Uniform Code of Military Justice provides, just as you would expect, that criminal defendants have the process of the court, that is to say subpoenas and depositions of under rules that are prescribed that are available, but I'm not going to say what we are going to do other than to let you know that we are going to do what you would want us to do.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Let's go to Washington, D.C. and Bonnie.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Liddy and Mr. Corsi. My question is, about a year and a half ago, I saw the COLB online, and it included in there his father's race as being black. Now, in 1961, black Americans in this country were not called that. It was either Negro or colored. And I mentioned this online a couple of weeks ago at a talk forum, and the person wrote back saying that that issue had been cleared up because the Obama people had changed it. Do you know anything about that, or what's the status of that?
It's one of the issues, Jerry Corsi, it's one of the issues in terms of the race attributed on that form to Barack Obama's father, the short certificate of live birth. You're correct. The African American was not a term utilized at the time, and that's been one of the points argued by many to say that the document, the short form certificate of live birth, was forged. And by the way, I called the Department of Health in Hawaii, and the Department of Health in Hawaii would not verify that they had issued the certificate of live birth that's been shown on Barack Obama's website or other websites like factcheck.org, which have tried to purport that document proves Barack Obama was born in Hawaii. It does not.
It does not. This is Paul Jensen, and let me add, it's purportedly on a form that was only created in November 2001. So anything that you're looking at, whether it's legitimate or not, is of recent printing. And, of course, it's not admissible in court. Copies are not admissible. I have yet to see anyone come forward and say, here's the raised sealed version, even of the certificate of live birth, even of the abstract. Who's got it? Where did it come from? I'd love to cross-examine the person who got it, because guess what? There's only one person on this earth today that under Hawaiian law can get that, and his name is Barack Obama.
Wow. Speaking of daddies and mommies, folks, if you'll pardon me for just a minute, Mother's Day